later, bitching in the kitchen or crying in the bedroom all night. Alright, that's got the mood set. I've lost count of exactly how many people I've told about Higurashi at this point. I mean, it's gotta be in like the upper teens or something like that. I've done it so often now that I automatically assume that when I meet somebody, I'm just gonna start telling them about Higurashi like at some point, so I just get the PowerPoint ready. And yeah, I'm gonna be using the PowerPoint. I've done it so often that I've just decided I might as well just automate the process and make a video about why you should be playing Higurashi. There's the title right there. Not only because the PowerPoint bit has gotten kind of stale, but also it's much funnier to send somebody a video called "Why are you playing?" or "Why are you playing Higurashi?" Why you should be playing. It's much funnier to send somebody a video titled "Why you should be playing Higurashi" when they inevitably ask me, "Hey, author man, what's Higurashi?" So sit back, lay down, get your blankie, get your stuffed animals, hug them real tight as you do. Get your comfort food. It's gonna be real chill. It's gonna be comfortable. You know, get your homies, sit back, watch the video, have a good time. Later, go to the bathroom before we start watching the video. I swear to God, okay, this is a promise. If he goes to the bathroom, if he's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, like in the middle of the video, like while I'm saying this right now, I'm gonna put it in the description, and you're all gonna know about it. So just keep that in mind. I hope everybody's ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm excited to tell you about this. Welcome to Hinamizawa. Hello everybody, welcome to my brief introduction in history to Higurashi When They Cry. Like it says in the title, brief introduction in history. It's gonna be real simple, it's casual, you know how it'll be. So your first question is, what the fuck is it? So Higurashi is a linear visual novel created by 7th Expansion and Ryukishi 07. It was released in Japan originally in 2002, and then it was released worldwide in 2009 on Steam. All of the games, kind of their theme is character, mystery, and what a lot of people remember for horror. We'll get to that in a little bit. And there are 4 main characters excluding the protagonist. Each of them get their own game. We'll get to them in a minute. So a couple of extra bits before we keep going. Higurashi is comprised of 8 total games, 4 games for the 2 arcs that the mainline series is comprised of. There's the questions arc, and there's the answers arc. Now, this isn't counting spin-offs. There are 2 spin-offs that I know of. There is the Mahjong game, which is not as weird as the third-person Higurashi shooter that exists. I only recently learned about it, so now you have to know about it too. Higurashi had an anime that was released in 2010. You probably, if you have heard the name Higurashi before, you probably know it from that, because a lot of the scenes from it are pretty famous. I'm not going to mention them because spoilers for the games. There was an anime, and there is an anime that is currently being aired that you can watch on Funimation. I will talk about that in a little bit. I really like it, but it's got some spoilers for the games. Higurashi has been ported to PC. It was ported on PC, it was released on PC. Then it was remastered on PC, like I said before, when it was, released worldwide. It was released on PS3, and then it was released on the Switch in Japan. It'll probably be coming to the Switch in America later. But something I want to point out before we move on. I want to give you some examples of what it's looked like, what the sprites have evolved to be over time. This is Reina. I'll talk about her in a minute. This is what she looks like in the remastered PC version. Okay? So, this is, Reina on the Switch. This is what Reina looks like on the the original. That's what she originally looks like. So just so you know, this is what we're dealing with here. This is Reina as she is, you know, in the remastered version on PC. Which if you're getting it on Steam, then that's the one that you'll see. This is the Switch version and PS3 version. This is Reina in the original version. So that's what we're working with here. So first up we have Kiichi Meibara. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's a lazy bastard. He's a pervert. He's a gifted wordsmith. He's very good at talking. Some of my favorite parts of the games are just him speaking. He's the smartest dumbass ever. Next up we have Reina Ryugu. She is great. She's smarter than she acts. She likes cute things. And she's the focus of the first game. I love her a lot. She's great. Next up, we have Mion Sonozaki. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. She's a sassy little lady. She's a very rich family. She's quite devious. She knows how to bury a body. And she's the focus of the second game. I love her a lot. I feel really bad for her. Next up, we have Satoko Hojo, I think that's how you pronounce it. She likes to set traps. She is my daughter. She acts very tough. And she's the focus of the third game. Next up, we have Rika Furude. I think that's how you pronounce that. She is a puzzling little pipsqueak. I love her a lot. The village elders dote on her. She is the shrine maiden for the local god. She is the focus of the fourth game. Nipa is the thing that she says. So I've been sitting here talking to you about this game for like 10 minutes now or some shit. You're probably wondering, well, hey, author man, you gonna tell me what it's about or what? And I'll be happy to tell you some information. So it starts off very slice of life, and then as you experience this world with Kiichi for the first time, you start to learn some crazy shit. One of the main things that you learn, and this is just like a little slice, is that every year there is a festival called Watanagashi, which means cotton drifting. And every year on that night, someone dies and someone disappears. And that's like a big old mystery in the games. The games, as they go on, get meta, and they continuously get more meta, and there's a downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral. I'm sure by this point, you've kind of been noticing something. For the more eagle-eyed viewers of you out there, if you've noticed it, good job. I applaud you. You have quantum brain. If you haven't, that's okay. We're gonna talk about it. For those of you that have noticed, it sounds quite familiar. Yes, this premise, slice of life, bunch of school kids, some crazy shit happens, meta, right? There's a festival involved. Some more of you probably picked it up by that. Sounds familiar? So, this is actually something really funny that I'm happy I get to talk about. I'm going to tell you all a little story. I used to really like Doki Doki Literature Club. It was new, unique, innovative. It was fucking great. Then I meet my friend Blader, and he tells me that Doki Doki Literature Club plagiarized Higurashi. It's my coffee machine. She showed me a bunch of images that are like basically word for word things that happened in Higurashi that Doki Doki Literature Club took. And he found this out. I love this story. He found this out when he was in the Doki Doki Literature Club server one day. He's in the server, and this one person, who I'm not going to name, because, well, one, that'd be fucked up if I did, and two, or they have gone to great lengths to separate themselves from what they had said before. And I appreciate that a lot. But what they had said was that Higurashi is basically like fucked up torture porn, whatever. You know, it's awful. Don't mention Higurashi around me, etc., etc. My friend Blader, being the man that he is, decided I'm gonna play Higurashi out of spite. See, this is one of the reasons why I love this guy. He was hanging out one day, and then suddenly somebody just said, I don't like this. So he decided to play it because the person said they don't like it. I fucking love him, dude. He's one of my best buds. But anyway, now you can say that these things, these designs, these moments are not directly stolen, they're not plagiarized, but you have to at the very least admit that they heavily inspired Doki Doki Literature Club. It is taking direct wording and steps that are used to get to very emotional moments in the individual pieces of media and repurposing them for their own piece of media. And yes, the scene, you know what scene I'm talking about, that's in Doki Doki Literature Club, the steps that are taken to get there are almost word for word in Higurashi. All of this is to say, it fails because it stole from Higurashi. It could have done its own thing entirely, and it didn't. So why should you play? I would hope you would understand by now, but if you don't, that's okay. I'm gonna lay it all out for you right here. Number one thing that I want to say about Higurashi is that it has a gripping and engaging mystery. The only piece of media that I can think of that comes close to it is Lost. The reason I think that Higurashi's mystery is better, quote unquote, I thought about it a lot more. I would also like to say that I've had a lot more interesting discussions about Higurashi than I have on Lost. Because every time somebody would finish a game, I would talk with them about it. And every single time I've talked with somebody, they've given me a different answer. It's not a bad thing. That's fucking awesome. I love that. I love to hear what people have to say. And that it varies so much between every person that plays it. I think that's awesome. And I cherish that a lot. Some of my favorite discussions I've had with my friends have been about Higurashi. Another thing that I love about Higurashi is its music. Its music is perfect. The music hits home more often than it doesn't. It wasn't always incredible. It used to be kind of MIDI, and I'll get into some other piece of the audio in a bit. But the other thing that I love about Higurashi is its characters. It has some of my favorite characters in any piece of media ever. I think Kiichi is probably one of my favorite video game protagonists of all time. And every other character in Higurashi is really, really well thought out. They get their own amount of time that they deserve. You know, everybody gets like, I don't know, like equal focus. I don't know what. So yeah, characters. Another thing. So the thing about Higurashi is scary. I'm gonna play for you a voicemail that was on my friend Eli's phone after I called him while I was playing one of the Higurashi games.
Eli, please, I'm playing Higurashi and it's scary. I'm scared, dude. She's looking at me. Please, oh God.
Yeah, so like that. I genuinely can't hear the sound of cicadas anymore without having a mini heart attack. I was working at my family's cafe one day, and then suddenly I heard what I thought was cicadas coming from the kitchen, and I had a fucking heart attack. So that's how bad it is. I also can't hear the sound of bell. I thought about it. I can't hear the sound of bells anymore. I can't do it. It's not gonna happen. Also made me cry a lot, not from fear, from sadness and happiness. It is beautiful, absolutely fucking beautiful. And the song, and that's really like, that's the culmination of everything, right? Is all of the stuff that I've talked about so far has made me genuinely give a shit about the games and has made me genuinely emotional when I think about them. And I think it should go without saying at this point, but Higurashi is one of my top favorite pieces of media ever. So in conclusion, play Higurashi. If you can't play it, watch the anime. Two things I want to say about that though. First thing I want to say is the games, you need to buy each individual game. None of them are free. But first game is free, and all the other games that are in the questions arc are like 50 or something % off. They're really cheap right now, cheaper than they usually are. I would recommend that you pick them up while you can. Even if you want to watch the anime, you should still pick them up. I recommend it. At least play the first game. I don't know about the rest of the games. I don't know if they're on sale, but I still recommend them. That said, if you can't play the games, then I'd recommend you watch the anime. And there's something I need to say about the anime. So, from my perspective, I have just finished watching the second episode of the new anime. It's great, it's fantastic. There's a problem though. It very blatantly spoils some of the stuff that happens later in the game. So I think you can totally play the first game and then decide which one you want to do, because they both spoil each other in different ways. You can't have both without spoiling yourself. You have to complete one of them and then complete the other. I'm not going to tell you which one you should do, because that's up to you. I've played the games and they're one of my favorite pieces of media ever, but the anime is really promising. So that's up to you to decide. I'm not going to tell you which one you should do. The next point I have on here is the Doki Doki Literature Club could have been better. It could have been incredible. It could have been its entirely own thing. It plagiarized, and it suffered because of that, at least in my opinion. You can have whatever your opinion you want on that. Thank you so much for watching this video of me screaming at a camera for like, I don't know, 10 minutes or some shit like that. If you have any questions, if you want to talk with me about the games, I would love to hear what you have to say. I am so interested in hearing what anybody has to say about the games, and even the anime. If you want to talk about the anime, I'm totally fine with that. I always love to have more discussion partners and hear what people's interpretations are. Before I end the video, I want to say a couple thank yous. First, I want to say thank you to my family for supporting me in my videos and all that stuff, and letting me curse. I want to say thank you to all my friends, anybody who's talked to me about Higurashi, and anybody who's really gone out on a limb and played the games after me yelling at you. Thank you so much for trusting my word and playing them. And that extends to anybody who plays the games after this. I couldn't appreciate it more. Thank you to my 3 buddies who have been pretty much in lockstep with me for the most part for all the games so far. Blader, I love you with all my heart. You are one of my favorite people in the world. Thank you for introducing me to this series. Eli, you are the fucking man. You're great. I love you. Thank you for talking with me about the games and giving me your theories. And Aiden, I fucking love you. You are a goddamn hero for playing all the games in the amount of time that you did. That was crazy. And thank you for talking with me about the games. I love you, dog. I love all 3 of you. And I want to finally say thank you, oh my god, thank you, to Ryukishi07 and 7th Expansion for making one of my favorite pieces of media ever. You guys have been doing Higurashi content since fucking 2002. You've almost been doing this for 20 years, and you just keep making it better and better and better and better. And I cannot thank you enough for not only completing the games and then making them into what they are today. It's one thing to make a product and then finish it, and it's entirely another to see where you can improve your product and then continuing to improve it. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the work you guys have put into it. Thank you so much. Thank you, again, everybody who watched this video, and I'll see you guys in Hinamizawa.